welcome to the Chateau. The reason I want to start with this side is because you can really see the difference between the structures and the different time periods that they were built. The back side of the Chateau is original. It's never been repainted. So the red bricks have faded. So next up is the Louis room. Hence the large portrait of Louis XIII. Everything that was originally in the Chateau was stolen when it was occupied in World War II. So we have no original artifacts in the building. These ceilings are also painted, but they seem to have aged a little more. A lot of chateaus have remodernized their spaces. They've painted them often white. And so that's really what you find all over the place, all over Paris, all over the countryside, are these beautiful wooden walls painted white, but we wanted to keep them authentic. So we continue staining the walls and waxing the floors so they can look original. This is our gray room, or the room that we call Marie de Rohan. Everyone calls it the gray room though. We can imagine that these chandeliers were once filled with candles instead of light bulbs, and some person went and got the electricity put in, which I am very grateful for. In February, Ian and his brother repainted this whole room and found layers of different paint in the walls. We were all pleasantly surprised when Ian found an old mirror that was painted over but still perfectly intact. This chimney is one of my favorites in the Chateau because of the beautiful marble work that was done on it. Look at these little sunflowers. These terraces are another favorite space of mine. I love the reflections in the water, and the bridge when it's flowered is just wonderful. If I actually lived in the Chateau, then I still think that this would be one of my favorite spots. I'd probably have a couch out here and just be here every evening. So this beautiful staircase was added in 1880. It has a beautiful echo. I would really love to put in a chandelier up there, but first of all, I don't know how we will ever get up there, and I don't know if we will ever be able to find a chandelier that is long enough. This is a little bust that I found amongst my grandfather's things. I thought it was pretty cute. It's from 1773. And it's actually signed right down here. My grandfather really liked to go to brocante and get all sorts of things. A brocante is a French antique market. So out here we have the terrace, or the covered terrace, that leads to the chapel.
Real quick, how many keys do you have on that keychain, dude?
Oh my gosh, like at least 10. That's just for the first floor.
Seriously?
Yeah, the rest of the keys are in a bag and in a box. I have a bag and a box of keys. So this is the chapel. And these are also original ceilings that I absolutely love and hope that I can restore someday, because they're starting to fall apart. These stained glass windows over here, they were actually done by E. Diderot in 1884. Marie de Médicis came to pray here in this chapel when Léonore Dory was living here, because she was her best friend, and she lived in the chateau for many years with the Count Concini. So these are little cherubs that dote their love upon anyone who comes across these doors. I really love the Greek features that they added with the columns on the sides. And if you come this way, you can see the beautiful terrace that Ian so kindly cleaned for us. The right time of day, it is one of the most magical areas, and it's probably why couples enjoy their photos here so much. So we're on the first floor, and can you hear the bells?
Oh yeah.
So right behind these trees, there's actually a church and the center village. So we're really close to the town. All the fireplaces are part of a series that has to do with some mythology. I was told that when the Duc de Luynes lived here, he made this beautiful cast iron piece for the fireplace. We're not haunted. This hallway is also a favorite because it's very long with lots of little doors coming out. This one was used in a Louis Vuitton shoot recently. These are, well, in French, it's tirons. Tirons means to pull, so they're pulleys, I guess. But they are actually attached to the metal beam that goes across the floor, and they're attached to the beam above, pulling it upwards, and attached to the walls, pulling them inwards. That way the chandelier won't fall on our guests. Probably the worst part about it all is that we had to get rid of the beautiful marble bathrooms that we had in here because the weight of them was just too much for the structure to handle. They had been added in the 60s, and nearly 70 years of pressure has created multiple problems. The marble baths were so heavy that they needed a crane to get them outside of the chateau. So this room has a secret door, secret passage, so it's pretty great for playing tag and hide and seek. And this room was probably the mistress's room, and she had a view on the gardens.
Which we have not yet brought back to life.
Nope, but you can kind of see the fountain that's in the center there. So we're not quite done. There's still an attic above us, but I think we're gonna have to save that for another video. And maybe Ian can take a turn and show us the dungeons.
So now, let's go check out the medieval dungeon. Even though this looks like a traditional dungeon where we had our prisoners, it was actually just the kitchen. So if you can imagine, they would have had the cooking area here, and the witches would boil their potions and stew their frogs right around here.
Baby, there were no witches in here. No witches.
That's not what history says. We'll talk about that in another video. So they had the kitchen oven there, and in here they had a bread oven. And you can fit so many cookies in there. Here you can see we still have the windows open right now, and that's because the dungeon needs to breathe. There's a lot of moisture down here and it's so cold. And whenever it's a warm, sunny day, we like to heat it up a little bit. Right now, we've basically walked across most of the chateau. Now we are coming up underneath the big beautiful staircase room. And this is where we have our chauffage, which is our furnace. Now, this one is not in operation. As far as we know, this is the oldest one in the chateau. Next to it, we have a slightly bigger, a little more modern looking furnace. You know, enough to heat your average huge house. And the new furnace we just put in is the biggest, and so far it's been doing a pretty good job. So we're pretty happy about it. This little passageway goes all the way through the chateau and looks like something out of a horror movie. So, this is not the only secret passageway on the chateau domain. There's another one that runs from our dove house all the way to the church in the center of town. So that was used in World War II, and we can only assume this was used in a similar fashion. This staircase actually leads right back up into the big grand staircase room above us. Aside from that, that's about it for the dungeon. Thank you for watching our chateau tour. See you soon.